Hi Westport, I'm Darling Hill and I'm here with the Queen of the Gullah Geechee Nation.
How honey to do today?
I will be interviewing her about her people and what she does around America and around the world. So first up, where does the Gullah Geechee Nation actually originate from?
The Gullah Geechee Nation's people originate in Africa as well as North America because we have African ancestors and indigenous ancestors. But here, our boundaries of the Gullah Geechee Nation are from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida. So it takes up all of the sea islands that are literally in the Atlantic Ocean and then 30 to 35 miles onto the mainland to the St. Johns River. So in Hunter Children, the Yeti people that crack a teeth like Adisha, most likely that's a Gullah Geechee person you hear speaking.
Do you have a native language?
Yes, our native language is Gullah, and a pidgin or a dialect of that language is Geechee.
Would you mind saying a few words for us?
Well, ain't Hunter didn't yet either crack your teeth just now? Think like that? See, and I didn't crack my teeth, Hunter can't crack your teeth back. So as I just told her, you know, I spoke, you didn't speak back to me.
No.
You can't speak my language. No, didn't you just hear me speak it? No, yes.
I heard you.
She don't know.
It.
Yes.
I
Oh.
know it.
Have you confused now?
Yes, ma'am. What was it like growing up?
It's very rural. Where I grew up, St. Helena Island is a rural place, so we always thought, well, wow, you know, how come other people have certain things that we don't have? But as you grow older, you go, well, we're glad we don't have what they have where they are. And then you had nothing but family and friends around, and everybody knows everybody. And so if you're up to something, everybody knows, you know. So it also was like that, but it was a very peaceful place, and people help one another out. So I love it there. Still there.
So it's like one big happy family.
It is. Well, you know, it's one big family. I don't know if they're always happy. You know how families can get sometimes. But definitely it's a loving family because no matter what, they always tend to come back around and help each other.
What has your ancestry and your heritage taught you?
My ancestry and heritage has taught me a major thing, that man is going to take on where money can't. And so my elders always told us that because there's so many people in this world today that are money driven, but money doesn't get you everything. Right. And the most important things in life are actually not, you can't pay for it. You know, your health, happiness, love, you really truly cannot pay for those things. And so my heritage and my culture being so communal has taught me that. So I value a lot of the things that I see people, a lot of other places tend to take for granted. And so I think that's made a big difference in my life.
How did you become Queen Mother of your nation?
I was actually elected. It was a one-year election that took place from 1999 all the way to the year 2000. And on July 2nd, 2000, I was actually installed as a Queen Mother and elected as a head of state. So I'm a head of state like other heads of state of the world, but I'm also a spiritual leader and Queen Mother of my community as well.
Very interesting. What is your role as the Queen Mother and head of state of Gullah Geechee Nation?
As the head of state for the Gullah Geechee Nation, I have to be involved in a lot of political things. So I do go to the United Nations. I also go to Washington, D.C., do negotiations on behalf of my people with the U.S. I have other heads of state that come and visit me, and we do a lot of global interactions that way. But as a Queen Mother, it's more spiritual leadership and guidance and wisdom for the community so that we can protect our human rights for the future.
And you mentioned you went to Washington, D.C., so I assume you met President Barack Obama?
Interestingly enough, I received the National Jefferson Award the year before he became President Obama. So I met him prior to him becoming President Obama, and I've been invited back to the White House twice since he's been President Obama to different conferences dealing with conservation and also preservation of lands. And so it has been wonderful seeing this journey and seeing just how your paths can intersect in life where you think they're parallel and then they intersect.
So what was it like knowing that we have our first African-American president?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I guess I had mixed feelings because I didn't think the U.S. was really so ready, so to speak, to be as diverse as they claim that they want to be. And unfortunately, I've seen them act now like they really aren't ready to. And also being a historian, I kind of questioned it, whether it was the first, because there was a historian, J.A. Rogers, that actually said that there had been 5 other presidents that were people of African descent. Really? They just didn't look like it and they didn't claim it outwardly, but that there had been other presidents. So I've still always had that in the back of my mind whenever everyone says, this is the first one. I'm like, but is he? Maybe not, you know. But I'm glad to know that in this time, people have witnessed what was such a historic and monumental event, because this is the first one that actually said he's the first black president. So it's a wonderful thing.
That's very interesting. You mentioned that you represented your nation at the United Nations. So what did you do there?
At the United Nations, initially, I went there to make a speech and a plea, what they call an intervention at the United Nations, on behalf of Gullah Geechees to have the human rights protected. Because from chattel enslavement up to the point of 1999 when I went there, we'd had numerous human rights violations. And so that helped us to put a global focus on even the existence of Gullah Geechees. And since then, I've continued my work at the United Nations because I've learned a lot of human rights law, and I'm now a representative for the International Human Rights Association for American Minorities, which is IRAM. I've also served on the directorate of the Human Rights Council. And so that this way we help to educate people around the world about minority rights, human rights, and then just equal rights for all people.
Very, very interesting. You had mentioned that you received the Living Legend Award from ASLA?
Asala.
ASALA. And what does ASALA stand for, and why were you given that award?
ASALA is the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. It originally was the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History, founded by Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who founded Black History Month. And they decided they wanted to honor 20 women that were living legends. So they gave out the inaugural Living Legacy Award last year in Washington, D.C. And I was truly honored to not only be a recipient of this first award from them for women and for being living legacy, but there were also 2 other Gullah Geechees that were presented with the award. Mary Moutry of Charleston, who led the hospital workers strike during the civil rights movement, and this year we're celebrating civil rights in America, so I can't leave her out. And then also, interestingly enough, my cousin, Dr. Najma Thomas, also received the award. So we were like, well, the Gullah Geechees have ran the slate today, you know, so it was truly an honor to receive that, especially from such a prestigious organization.
And what is the legacy that you would like to leave with African Americans or even Americans as a whole?
Well, with Americans as a whole, if you're going to say that you're a melting pot, I don't think you truly celebrate then saying diversity. I think if you're more of a salad bowl, then you celebrate diversity, because you can appreciate everything in that salad has to offer and all the richness each part of it has. And I think until America comes to that point, there's still going to always be a lot of issues that we need to get resolved. And so for people of African descent in America, I would say the only way you can play a part in resolving those issues is to truly learn who you are. As we would say in the Gullah Geechee Nation, know who hunter to be. And so know that God has made you uniquely who you are, and celebrate your culture and celebrate your legacy and your history, and make some new positive history too.
Definitely, diversity is key.
Definitely.
And what percentage of Americans, if you could tell me, are descended from your nation?
It's interesting because we don't have a definitive number of how many people in America descended from our nation, but we do know that Sullivan's Island, that I mentioned in my presentation today, is where over 40% of all Africans enslaved in North America came through. So anybody who considers themselves African American, you probably have an ancestor that actually came to and through the Gullah Geechee Nation before they migrated to elsewhere. So the Gullah Geechee Nation is really the roots of African American culture.
So I could be Gullah Geechee.
And it don't get, but then they get there and can't understand her own family. And then when you get home, you won't know how to even talk to your own family. See, that's sad though. We gotta teach you.
One last question. I asked you for an autograph, and when I did, you mentioned that you only wrote with your purple pen. Why is that?
I write with my purple pen because purple is my official color. So I either wear purple or gold, or I wear indigo and white. So you see I have on indigo and white. So those are my official colors as Queen Quet. And so that's why whenever I autograph something, it's autographed in purple. So if somebody goes on eBay and buys something and they say it's a Queen Quet autograph and it's another color, no, it's not me. It's a fake. So definitely I always do that so people have the original. But also, of course, purple represents royalty as well. Right. And so that's something that I feel is really an honor to be able to emboss something, because I think it's an honor to me for somebody to even want my autograph in the first place, because I'm just doing what God has allowed me to be able to do.
Thank you so much for your time.
This is such a blessing. All right.
I'm Darling Hill. Thank you for watching.
Peace and blessings.